This is USC's TRIO Upward Bound Program office. This organization helps underprivileged low-income students in the surrounding Columbia communities. I was able to volunteer with the program as part of my practicum experience this semester. They hold Saturday tutoring sessions here in the Booker T. Washington School, which has been a part of the USC campus since its closing in 1974. Previously, the school was the largest public all-black high school in the state of South Carolina. Trio serves 4 high schools in the Columbia area, and today we are going to visit the community of one of those schools. This is W.J. Keenan High School, one of the 4 high schools served by Trio. It was opened in 1963 as a junior high school to feed into A.C. Flora High, but is now its own high school. Before we jump into the community, let's take a look at some statistics about the school and Trio. The state student population in South Carolina displays white students as the highest population, which is somewhat evened out by other ethnicities, with Black students coming in second, Hispanic students in third, and what's classified as other in fourth. However, at W.J. Keenan, Black students make up 90% of the student population, creating somewhat of a gap in racial equality. I've also noticed this same disparity in my time working with TRIO, and so I gathered some statistics about this year's student population within the program. Let's take a deeper look at these data sets. As mentioned earlier, TRIO serves low-income, underprivileged students, and this can be categorized in a multitude of ways. As you can see, 57 of 98 students in this year's program are low-income and first-generation. 11 are low-income only, 3 are first-generation only, and 17 students are low-income, first-generation, and at high risk for academic failure. Of the 98 students in TRIO, 91 are Black or African American. However, the most surprising statistic was that of the 98 students, 68 were female students and only 28 were male. According to the American Psychological Association, there is a large gap between academic success for boys versus girls, especially with boys of color, who face suspension and expulsion from school at almost 5 times the rate of their white male classmates, and are even less likely to finish high school or college. I took some time to drive around the campus and get a feel for student life. As I drove toward the back of the school, I noticed something that I had never seen at any high school: a small farm. The tiny farm houses donkeys, goats, and a chicken coop. I then reached the student parking lot, which was quite small compared to the parking lots at the high schools in my community, suggesting that they don't have many student drivers. From the parking lot, students can enter the school through the auditorium or gymnasium. I was also able to visit the football field and other athletic facilities on campus, and based on their looks, I would say that football seems to be the most popular sport at the school. Now let's take a look at the community surrounding W.J. Keenan. My first encounter with the community, that began less than 2 miles down the road, is the Midland Center Department of Disabilities and Special Needs. The Midland Center is one of the 5 regional facilities owned by the Department of Disabilities and Special Needs. It houses individuals with disabilities or special needs and provides them with care through on-site help professionals and resources. This is the style of most of the housing facilities in the Midland Center, which all had different names such as Juniper, Magnolia, and Sycamore. After I left the Midland Center, I came across a few different neighborhoods. The first neighborhood is Lake Elizabeth Estates, established in 1961. As you can see, most of these houses are older style homes and most likely have been the same since the neighborhood began, with a few renovations here and there. It was a small, quaint neighborhood tucked away in the trees against the shore of Lake Elizabeth, giving it a very close-knit vibe. Just down the road from Lake Elizabeth Estates was the community of Summerhill, coined with the phrase urban living, country charm. Summerhill was a much larger community spread across acres of land with the Cumbus Creek running behind it. Similar to Lake Elizabeth Estates, many of the homes were old-fashioned and seemed as though they had not been renovated since they were built. On my way over to the third major neighborhood in the area, I passed a few community buildings, including one large church, a tractor mart, and a Family Dollar, which sat directly across the street from W.J. Keenan. Once I reached the last neighborhood, Hastings Point, I noticed an immediate difference from the previous 2 neighborhoods. According to the Hastings Point HOA website, this is a luxury neighborhood known for its casual elegance and unparalleled design. Unlike the other two neighborhoods of the area, the homes in Hastings Point were much larger, newer, and many featured large front and backyards with pools, fountains, large porches, etc. As I was exiting the neighborhood, I also noticed that there was a guard tower in the entrance. As I headed away from the community of W.J. Keenan and toward home, I passed a few more community buildings, another large church off the side of the highway, a Pop's gas station, one First Citizens Bank, and an automobile shop titled Stone, which didn't seem to be in operation. A Dollar General, another auto service, an Exxon gas station, and a Langley management office, which sat right next to a McDonald's just before the interstate exit. Overall, the community surrounding W.J. Keenan seems to be mostly of untouched land and old neighborhoods and homes, most of which have been there for decades. And based on the data we've gone over today, the students at the school seem to be facing a lot of educational and wealth disparities, which is why programs like TRIO are so helpful for students in these communities.